radio for all.
You are now live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. Yeah. And we're back, live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. Just want to say that tonight's show is brought to you by Vibrant Entertainment, presents Basket Mount in New York City, June 27th. Please go to their website, www.vibrant.com, for more information, or visit our Facebook page on Sahara Reporters Facebook page for more information. Also, the law offices of Bolanle Mayowa PC. Please go to their website, www.mayowalaw.com. And we're so fortunate, we just so happen to have Bolanle Mayowa ESQ in the house joining us. Let's give her a round of applause. Bolanle, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, fantastic. So real quick, last time we were here, we were talking about immigration. It seems like that's just been, in light of recent news and everything that's happening. So can you give us an update on the deferred action and, the current standing of DAPA and DACA?
Yes.
Yeah, DAPA and DACA. Thank you so much.
Well, DACA, that's the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and
Right.
DAPA, which the administration tried to implement in February, which was the Deferred Action for Parents of Americans
Right.
and permanent residents.
Okay.
DACA, the old one that was implemented in 2012, is still in place. It's still
Okay.
working. People are getting work permits and becoming productive members of the society.
Okay.
The administration tried to expand that and also to provide work permits for parents, people who are invested in the American system,
Okay.
who have children that are Americans.
Right.
That's what they tried to implement in February. But unfortunately, 26 states, Texas included, went to court and sued to stop it.
Why would they want to do that?
Well, the primary reason they gave is that it would be too much of a burden on the states, that it will cause the states to lose money.
Wow.
And they cited the lack of border protection. And they got a judge who has implemented an injunction, meaning it has stopped the act in its progress. So nobody is able to apply for that currently. There's going to be a decision, hopefully sometime in May.
Right.
And to the government had asked for the injunction to be lifted. The lawsuit will go on. So hopefully maybe we'll be able to get that injunction lifted and people will be able to apply.
Wow. Fantastic. Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I really don't know why they want to put in an interjection on that, but
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of politics
Right.
Mixed in. Because
Exactly.
in reality, this is something that's really good for the American society.
Exactly.
You have people who are not participating fully,
Right.
who can get jobs. When those people get jobs, they become taxpayers.
Right.
It's good for the economy.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's good, man. Thank you so much. So let me ask you a question. I know we're going to talk about what happens when people get pulled over by police and everything. But like I said, thank you for sponsoring the show. Let's talk about Mayowa Law PC. What are some of the services you offer?
well, we're a general practice firm. We're primarily immigration.
Okay.
So people who want to visit the U.S., temporarily work in the U.S.,
Right.
have permanent status in the U.S., we work towards that.
Okay.
We also do municipal practice,
Okay.
Criminal. So
Right.
if you get stopped by the police, you get issued summons, tickets, driving while intoxicated, things like that. We do contracts.
Okay.
People generally starting a business, going into a partnership, civil litigation, we do that. So
Okay.
we run the gamut.
Okay.
We can, depending on the case and depending on the individual, do a variety of things.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Things like one question somebody had on our Facebook page, or my Facebook page, was like, do you do like patents and copyright and stuff like that?
Unfortunately, that is one of the things we don't do currently.
Okay. Okay.
But if someone is interested in that and they call the law firm, we have attorneys that we can refer them to.
Okay, good, fantastic. So, in light of recent events, we've seen what happens when people get pulled over by cops. It's just so unfortunate that most of these policemen are trigger happy, and it seems like they just want to. It's like the first thing that comes to their mind is like they just want to shoot, and they want to shoot to kill. People have been saying it's not a race thing. Unfortunately, the numbers say otherwise. So let's take it back a little bit. So if you're pulled over by the police, what should we do?
Well, the first thing is you have to keep in mind,
Yes.
and that's something that you cannot forget,
Right.
that the policeman is somebody who's armed
Okay.
and backed by the power of the state.
Okay.
So that's the first thing.
Yep.
Okay? So, and then the second thing is you have to remember that a policeman who's doing his job,
Okay.
people just like you, they go to work every day
Yeah.
and do their jobs. And from working, you realize that people work differently.
Right.
So the policemen are different.
Yes.
When the policeman is walking up to you, you don't know if he's experienced, if he's not, if he's good at his job, if he's not. So your first priority is do not escalate the situation.
Okay. Honestly, I've said that to people, to cooler heads prevail. So what do you say to people that say that's being docile?
It is not.
Okay.
Because
All right.
you do not want to give a policeman the choice of how much force to use against you.
Right.
Once you have given a policeman that choice,
Yes.
then you're relying on him to be good at his job, to be cool in the situation. And you might not always get that. So you
Right.
need to be polite to the police officer,
Okay.
first things first.
Yes.
Okay? Because that can make a difference in the way the policeman reacts to you.
Right.
Even if it's a simple thing as the policeman is going to write you a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
The policeman has discretion on what to do.
Right.
The policeman is the gateway to the criminal justice system. They
Right.
have a wide variety of discretion. A policeman can decide to write you one ticket or 10.
True.
When you get in a policeman's face, you're rude, you yell at him for the simple act of him trying to do his job,
Right.
the results you get will be much worse. So you need to be polite.
Right.
Try not to argue, even if you think the policeman is wrong.
Right.
If it turns out that he's wrong, you can have your day in court and fight that.
Right.
But when you escalate a situation and force has to be used,
Yeah.
you might not get that day in court.
True. I wanted to say something. I was looking for it on my phone that, somebody put out there 5 things we should do when you're pulled over by police or something. One of the things like do not resist arrest.
Yes.
Okay, so and I think in this day and age of like the camera phones and everything, people feel like, it's my right, Okay, so what are the laws around resisting arrest?
Okay. When a policeman is trying to do his job,
Yes.
you are not allowed to resist. Even
Okay.
if the policeman is wrong
Right, and rude or whatever.
and decides to make the decision to arrest you,
Yes.
you do not have that authority to resist.
Right.
Okay, you can be charged with resisting. Then the
Okay.
policeman can use force to make you comply.
Right.
So if a policeman wrongfully arrests you,
Right.
that's something you can fight in court.
Okay.
If he uses excessive force, even if you're not resisting,
Right.
charges can be brought against the police officer.
Yeah.
You can fight that legally through the courts.
Right.
But when you decide to get into a physical altercation with a police officer, even if it's wrong,
Right.
he has the power of the state behind him to subdue anyone that's resisting.
Right. Yeah, so in the recent case, everybody saw the video. They said, I was reading somewhere that some policemen do have instances where they can justify shooting a fleeing person.
Yes.
But in this case,
Well, the thing is,
in this case, this is
the
an
first
open
thing is,
Right.
a lot of the times things are put in the media that, we don't know 100%. But from
Right.
what is shown, it doesn't look like it was a dangerous situation. In a situation where somebody is fleeing, if their lives in danger, if the person is armed, the police
Right.
officer is authorized to use force to bring the person down.
Right.
And they have discretion.
Okay.
Whether, tackling of someone, taser, if they believe the person is going to be a danger to others, they can be justified in
Right.
shooting.
Okay.
But the worst thing you can do in any situation is run from a police officer or get into a physical altercation with a police officer.
Yeah.
You do not want to do that. And the thing is, most likely, like in the situation that was in the news, the policeman was at fault. He was
Yeah.
very, very wrong to have done what he did. But you don't want to become a statistic.
Right.
You don't want to be in a situation where after the fact, they're now persecuting the police officer. It's better to comply.
Right.
Even if it's against you, well, and you can say, yes, I'm following orders. I'm going to do what you asked me to. I don't agree with what you're saying. You don't escalate the situation, and then bring charges against the police officer.
I completely agree. I've always said, but in this case, I know the guy was running.
Yes,
he was scared for something.
It's very, very tragic,
Yes.
how the circumstances ended up. But, it comes down to that thing of don't give the police officer the decision on how much force to
I'll
use.
tell you what you just said, man. A lot of people are going to come for you. I'll be honest. So it's going to be, again, he could have chased the guy. He didn't have
Yes,
to shoot him.
it was
honestly.
the wrong decision.
It was the
but
wrong decision,
Don't, it's that thing of,
Don't give them
give the police officer
reason.
the opportunity or reason to make the wrong decision.
Wow, it's just sad, man. But we're going to see how this played
Yes,
out. They arrested
it's
him right away
very-
because after the video evidence came out. Please, Bolanle, thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, please give some people information on how they can reach you and everything.
Well, you can go to our website,
Yes.
mayowa.com, mayowa.com, or give our
Okay, right
office
there,
a
it's on the
call,
screen. Good.
908-864-8083.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Please hang out. We're going to have like a little quick social media segment, and then we're going to round up the show. We want to talk about the Chibok girls. It's been 1 year. And also, I started a campaign to try to create awareness for domestic violence. Real quick, so before you go, so say somebody in the United States or somebody calls you, what rights do the women have with regards to domestic violence?
As far as domestic violence,
Yeah, like a husband that's beaten his wife.
If that has happened, you have the right to get help, to get protection,
Right.
report it to the authorities.
Okay.
Call if it's in a situation where something is happening. If you can get to the phone, 911. The
Okay.
police will come.
Yeah.
After the situation, you can always walk in. Even if it's not happening, even if there are no witnesses,
Right.
you can always walk into a police station. You can walk to family court
Right.
and report it. There are organizations in every state that cater
Okay.
to women who are abused or even men who are abused.
Right.
And you can always get help.
Thank you. I mean, this is a system I wish we can implement in Nigeria someday,
Well, actually, even although we don't have, the 911 system, there are
Yeah.
organizations in Nigeria that are in place to help women who are
Yeah.
being abused. It's not as advanced as we have here, but they do help women who are abused.
Yeah, but I want to see men being punished. Because let's face it, I think one of the reasons why men don't do it here is because there are laws. You beat your wife. She
It
calls
happens
911.
here much more than we think it does.
does, right.
But you're absolutely
Right,
right.
the
We
laws
need
are
to see
enforced.
more prosecution of men
Yes.
in Nigeria. And also, in order to do that, the one thing we have to do first
Yeah.
is make it a public situation.
Right.
The perception is that it is a private matter, it is a family matter, but it is
Yeah.
not. It is something for society to address. It's not a family matter.
Exactly.
It's a society matter.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bolanle.
It's my
Guys,
pleasure.
we're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to be joined by Adela. We're just going to have a quick social media segment. We're going to talk about the Chibok girls. Sorry, we ran out of time. But if you want to call in, please feel free to do so. The number to call is 917-284-9811. If you have questions for resident lawyer, Bolanle Mayowa, please, she'll be ready to take your questions. Live with the Humble Prince. We'll be right back.